So welcome back to the World Autism Summit. Now we have another superstar, Dani Bowman with Dani Mation, and she is a superstar like beyond belief. Dani Bowman, who is on the autism spectrum, founded her company, Dani Mation Entertainment, in 2009. Dani has led some summer animation camps and online one-to-one sessions, educating, elevating, and empowering her students on the autism spectrum, helping them turn their passion into a career. She graduated with a BFA in animation in 2018 and an MBA in global strategy and leadership in 2020. She is also a cast member of the Netflix season Love on the Spectrum. Dani is currently working on getting a PhD with a thesis on how much the impact her program has had in the autism community. So please help me welcome Dani Bowman. She's amazing.
Hello, Karen. It's really great to seeing you. And it's also a long time no see from the Autism Summit from Alberta, Canada.
I know you were so amazing then, and you continue to be amazing now. I just love the work that you're doing. So welcome to the summit. And I just, you know what we're about? We're about moving the needle of understanding around autism and neurodiversity to help, spread love and joy and happiness and everything around the world so we can connect the world.
So yes, indeed.
So tell me what inspired you to be part of our World Autism Summit?
So what inspired me to be involved with the World Autism Summit? Well, like I said, I met you from the Autism Summit from Alberta, Canada, when I was a public speaker, and I visited one of the World Autism Summit booths, the Autism Today booths. Your booth right there was so amazing. So, and then you asked me about being part of the summit as a fun invitation back in January.
Yes, that's right. That's right. We did. And that was like, it was just a figment in our imagination. I think taking it from Epcot Center, Disney, right? Figment. Remember that?
In other words, you were inspired to include me into the summit.
Absolutely. Totally inspired. You were a perfect fit.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We just really, how do you want to make the biggest impact in the world around autism?
So the biggest impact in the world of in my area of expertise is I really wanted to help people on the autism spectrum be able to turn their passion, whether it's animation or film or any of their subjects, into a career that can lead to sustainable, independent lives. And my company, and this ties the mission for Dani Mation with help. That's why Dani Mation helps people on the autism spectrum prepare for their career paths that they wanted to be in.
That's great. I love your mission. I love your vision. I love the fact that you're helping other people on the spectrum fulfill their mission and their vision, because we really, want everybody to succeed. And of course, people with autism, they have different visions, different career paths and everything. And we need to fulfill everybody's career path. What is your biggest why for what you do?
The reason why I wanted to do something in the autism world is that people on the autism spectrum struggle to become independent. And I've noticed that the unemployment and underemployment rates are incredibly high. So I strive to help people on the autism spectrum get into their sustainable, independent lives. But people on the autism spectrum are really smart, but all they need is great support, the loving push, as what Temple Grandin mentions, the loving push from their families, and to help them get into the career path with what they want to be, the dreams. But the reality is that there are some block paths that people on the autism spectrum have to solve, and just because people on the autism spectrum have the dreams that they want, well, it doesn't mean that they're going to get the dreams they want. People on the autism spectrum must find a way.
And so you talked about the loving push, and you talked about Temple Grandin, who's a friend of mine and a friend of yours, and how Temple inspired you. I know this is a surprise question, but Temple really inspired you, as she's inspired so many people. Tell me a little bit about that.
She's incredibly amazing. When I first saw the premiere of the HBO movie Temple Grandin, it shows me that if Temple Grandin can have a career in the field she wanted to be, then I can. The same thing with animation, and therefore Temple Grandin has been my biggest inspiration throughout the years since I first discovered her. And therefore I inspired to be the Temple Grandin of my generation.
Nice. Nice. I know Temple Grandin taught my son how to drive in a way. She told him, get out on the fields and just drive, practice. So he
Well,
drives.
speaking of driving, I did got a driver's license back in 2022,
Mm-hmm.
which all thanks to my life coaches that helped me with driving. Driving is difficult.
I
I
know.
understand some people on the autism spectrum have fear of driving or like getting into accidents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's difficult because it's something new, it's something different. You're afraid of, hitting another car or having to think outside the box. It's abstract thinking versus concrete thinking.
Oh, yes.
Okay, now here's that question that we were both kind of fiddling around with, but how can everyone develop programs with people with autism to make the world an easier place to navigate?
Well, there are many ways that a lot of people who work with people on the autism spectrum or autism themselves can, there's many different ways. But in my example, I am currently working with the Stanford University's neurodiversity project program called REACH. So this is a program where I assist students doing studies and developing programs on how to help our neurodiversity community find ways to make it better for future generations. For example, REACH will show future generations of neurodiverse students and their families on how to transition their interests and passions into any career that can lead to sustainable, independent lives, and programs for parents on how to help neurodiverse children get into that level. And I have a little Instagram video that I would like to show you.
That'd be great.
So this is that's a little TikTok video.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Dani Bowman. Also, how can you help transition?
That's me speaking. I'm very proud that Dr. Lawrence Fung invited me to be part of this program.
That's really impressive.
Not only that, he even invited me as one of the speakers back during the neurodiversity summit back in 2022 as well, at virtual.
That is really impressive. Good for you. You're doing such wonderful work. So now that I've asked you my questions, I get to ask you the questions you want me to ask you. So,
right.
Do you think that by establishing a career for a person with autism, that can lead them into financial success?
Well, yes, it can lead to financial success. However, people on the autism spectrum are held accountable of their independent lives. That's why people on the autism spectrum do need the loving push, not only the support from their families, but also you never stop learning. I've always advised my peers to never stop learning. Some people on the autism spectrum do need to take classes on how to manage their finances and how to do life skills. These are the important classes that people on the autism need in order to refresh their brains to stay independent, stay diligent. It's the key.
That is so important. It's important for everybody, but it's very, very important because so many people on the autism spectrum struggle with finances. just to understand how to manage their money and how to manage their lives. Life skills are very challenging. So getting on to the next question is, how important are peer mentors in the success of your students with autism in creating success and stability?
Well, I could say it is potentially important to have peer mentoring for people on the autism spectrum. Especially, it's even better if the peer mentor is on the autism spectrum themselves, and they're the ones that share the same interests that people on the autism have, and their career dreams. And that's why we teach our one-on-one animation sessions to people on the autism spectrum, because people on the autism spectrum can easily connect with the instructor who is on the autism spectrum themselves as well.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I think animation is so wonderful. At one time, I wanted to do an animated series based on a story with my son called Especially Me. And I just think animation teaches so many different things to adults and kids alike. You can
That is true.
You can sit down next to your child, and learn so much, but you can also teach children at such a young age so many deep values that they need to learn, and the adult needs to learn too. And you can do it side by side. Like, it's the same sort of thing as the autistic person and the person, like both people learning at the same time.
Well, in addition to the one-on-one sessions, we do teach our 1-week animation workshops in person, because here's a video I would like to show you on how I teach animation in Tampa, Miami, and in the Los Angeles area.
Oh, good.
And we also would like to thank Wacom for providing the tablets that students use in our Dani Mation. So, this is not just a teaching reel, but this is like, there's me with the students.
Oh.
They create their animations. That's in Miami.
Oh, no. I went to South Miami High School.
And this is the Los Angeles Summer Animation Workshop. These are all my students, and they're all on the autism spectrum.
Wow.
And I forgot to mention that, and I also forgot to mention that Rosie O'Donnell's daughter, Dakota, Rosie's child, Dakota, joins our camps as well.
Oh, nice.
So I can't wait to show you another clip featuring Rosie O'Donnell and talking about, she is the voice of Turk from Tarzan, if you remember the Disney movie Tarzan from 1999. So this is some Rosie O'Donnell, and she taught the voice acting session. We were grateful to include her.
I got the call to do Tarzan. I said, well, who am I going to be? They said, a monkey. So when I started talking into the microphone, they said, we really love that kid voice you do. When Turk is little, he sort of talks like that, like she talks like kind of like that. And they said, we love how you do that baby voice. Could you make that baby voice into the grown character too? And so we ended up just doing my normal New York accent. My one son was 4, and my other daughter was 2 years old, and we went to the local movie theater to see it, and I didn't really explain to them that I did the voice, because I thought, how would they really understand that? They were only 4 and 2. And in the middle of that movie, my son stood up on the chair in the movie theater and said, "That monkey's my mama." And everybody turned around and was like, I'm like, he's right, I'm the monkey.
And that is a clip starring Rosie O'Donnell.
Wow, that's so cute.
We were like, I'm so grateful that she decided to come to our Dani Mation camp, because her child Dakota was interested in taking one of our animation camps.
That is so cute. I love that. It's priceless. Mm.
Indeed, yes. Okay.
Has there ever been a time you were afraid during this process, or have you ever experienced fear now, even nowadays?
Well, I do experience some fear back then and fear nowadays because we on the autism, I've always fear of failure.
Mhm,
But remember, everybody fails at one point or another. So
mhm,
when it comes to coping with failure, what I do is that every time I fail at something, I just have to look, reflect, and then just move back and just keep moving forward.
mhm, mhm. Just pick yourself up and dust yourself off and get on with it.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Would you have any recommendations for people around the fear, around, what you would recommend for other
Not
people?
only it's about not fearing, it's not only about dealing with failure and moving on from failure. My advice is for people on the autism spectrum is whether they want to start their career, they're never too young to start because it's good that you could start at a younger age because that way it's going to help you plan things ahead. But however, nobody does it alone. That's why it's important to get help from your parents, from friends that you trust, or from your family members that can help you get your company or your career started. And remember that it's okay to ask for help.
Mhm.
Everybody needs help from one another, but just because you're an adult doesn't mean you can't get help all the time. But everybody has to push themselves because nobody is going to be doing everything for us for the rest of our lives. So also, there's a difference between being independent and being dependent. It's good to be interdependent.
Right. Oh,
Have an interdependent mindset. That's a very important aspect for people on the autism spectrum should have. And most important thing is that keep networking at different conferences, any autism events, or at an event that you're interested based on your passion, an event or convention. That's where I go. It's not just about what you know, it's who you know in the industry. And most importantly, remember to say and remember to keep learning. Keep learning. It's not about getting all straight A's. It's about applying what you learn. Always apply what you learn. And the most important thing is that don't listen to the naysayers. You can't, just because they said you cannot do this or you cannot do that, just look straight in the eyes. Wow, too uncanny for me. I always tell my peers, like, look straight at their forehead, their chin, their nose. It's hard for, believe me, it's hard. They can't tell. It's about looking straight at them and saying, yes, I can and I will, just watch me. And the most important quote that I say to my peers, if you can see it, you can be it.
That's good. You should say that one more time, really loud.
If you can see it, you can be it.
That is beautiful. That should be a meme. That should be all over the internet.
Okay. Okay.
The next one, we're on number 4 anyway. Do you consider your business to be successful? I know we all have ebbs and flows of success, but where do you feel like, do you feel like
I felt that Dani Mation's success has barely scratched the surface because there's still more long way to go. Even though with Dani Mation's been successful with its one-on-one animation sessions and its animation camps and premiering short films at Comic-Con, I think Dani Mation should do more. Like a more studio production, like producing television and feature films could be another expansion plan for Dani Mation. And besides, next year is Dani Mation's 15-year anniversary, which we call it Dani Mation 15.
Where do you see it growing in the world globally?
What I see growing in the world globally for, you mean not just Dani Mation?
Yeah, I mean, like, where do you see like helping everybody all over the world?
Helping all over the world.
Mhm.
Well, I see that it's going to be easier transition for individuals on the autism spectrum to have their sustainable jobs. It really depends, but the reality is it really depends on the career they take.
Mhm.
Whereas for animation, we say that there's some animation productions that people on the autism spectrum tend to stick, and others they just end, and then they have to find, and then a new job happens.
It's
Whenever
just
you lose a job, there's a way to, whenever you lose a job or a career, what are you going to do? There's a way. People on the autism spectrum will have to find ways and there's always ways and backup plans for people on the autism spectrum to have. If plan A doesn't work well, find a plan. There's going to be a plan B, a plan C, and so on and so forth.
There's just going to be a lot of ebbing and flowing everywhere. And animation, regardless of where it grows and where it goes, is going to be a wonderful, wonderful medium for people to be able to express themselves. And what you're doing is going to grow and be a wonderful, wonderful way to get out there.
Thank you.
And finally, I guess the most important question is, what advice would you give other neurodistinct individuals and autistic individuals who want to start, it's like start up their own visionary company or business, especially in this area?
My biggest tip is that you're never too young to start a company. It's important to have it, like I said, have an interdependent mindset, because you can do certain things independently. Like you could be able to do animations on your own. You could come up with a plan on your own. You're capable of most of the stuff. However, it's okay that you're not good at other areas. Like for example, finances, you might need some help with finances or websites, all this. You want to get help. You want to help get interdependent. You want to get a team behind you that can help you with your animation production faster. Like someone who can build, like we have an intern at Dani Mation that is helping us with our website that is going to make our website much easier, while at the same time, we at Dani Mation take care of the other stuff.
Maybe they can help me. No. Anyway, so are there any other things that you'd like to say to people or ask, or any other types of things?
So if you'd like to learn more information about Dani Mation, we do provide free introduction animation classes on our Dani Mation website. All you have to do is to register for daniacademy.com/free, where you can help, where you on the autism spectrum, anybody on the autism spectrum who is interested in animation could be able to sign up. And we also provide one-on-one animation sessions. So if you'd like to learn more about me, you can go search for me on danibowman.com. You could search for us on social media, like you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, not exact anywhere, or you could just Google me.
Google you. You have been an amazing guest. And anybody that wants to reach out to you, they can reach out to you directly. And thank you so much, Dani. We really appreciated your time and energy and the work that you do. Thank you so much.
No problem. Anytime. Thank you so much for the invitation, Karen. It was great seeing you again since we first met from the autism conference in Alberta, Canada.
Yeah, it was great. So thank you so much. Okay.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.